Welcome to the History Hyenas. I'm Chris Distefano. That's Yannis Pappas. We have Neil deGrasse Tyson coming in, and I'm holding in a fart.
Yeah, we're hoping he comes in and stays in. That is our goal. Our first question is, does the universe fart?
Does the universe fart? Yeah, we're going to ask him questions that nobody's ever asked him before. I mean, we started the podcast a few minutes before he's coming in because we got to get warmed up, and we got to get anything I'm going to say that's going to garner a Wei Shan-Chien. We got to get it out of my system now.
Yeah, I mean, so Paul over at Sirius thought it would be
ripped, by the way.
Jacked.
He's jacked. He pulled out his abs, and I went payoing because I'm a celibate kid. I'm backed up. I'm horned up.
Yeah, I mean,
Neil deGrasse Tyson's getting kissed on the lips.
Yeah, I mean, Paul drives in from Colorado to come to work every day.
Yeah, I mean, he's a wild kid. It's just, I mean, you know, Paul likes pain. He likes to hurt himself.
Yeah.
So he just drives in from Scranton, Pennsylvania in his mom's fucking Buick.
Yeah, I mean, the kid drives into Secaucus.
Yes, Secaucus. He's a wild kid. He works out at 1:30 in the morning. What I want to know from you, Paul, is what are you hiding?
I mean, the kid drives all the way from Scranton to Secaucus, parks his car, and then runs into New York like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's one of the biggest guests of our career. We're at the Sirius XM beautiful studios in Midtown Manhattan, and Zach Isis is dressed in a Santa hat and a Chewbacca sweater like he has special needs. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to come in and think we gave a kid a Make-A-Wish to push the buttons on the soundboard.
I mean, could he have picked a better day to come in looking like somebody who needs to be put right back into Bellevue because they walked out without permission?
And the kid's wild.
Yeah.
And Venetia's in the back, and Mikey Suarez, Mikey Emoji Face is here in the back too, and Venetia gave notes, and Mike is breathing heavy.
It's what it is. And Mike, when Zach got here, he was like, he had a real 25-year-old moment.
Yeah.
24. You're 24?
24.
Jesus Christ. He's only 24 years old.
24 and me.
So he came in here, he goes, Zach goes, you know, because Zach is a rapper.
He's a rapper.
So he was like, I made it here. I'm in Sirius XM. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. And we saw him having that moment, and me and Chris were just like, you took the train here, stupid.
Yeah, it's
not that big a deal.
I know it feels big to you.
You're going to be homeless in a year.
Yeah, I know it feels big to you because you're a few feet away from Sway's studio, but make no mistake, he never listened to your mixtape.
And he never will.
No, he will.
No,
we're going to get into it because make no mistake, Zach, just like the key to my success is Giannis, the key to your success is Jan.
Yeah, you need Jan in your life.
I agree. He can get me into those buildings.
And you could get him in any building if you put him in a JanSport.
Yeah,
you can fit him in. I mean, the kid's a pipsqueak.
The kid's a pipsqueak bad, and he keeps messaging me on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, but I can't see the messages because they're not over my phone.
Yeah,
the kid's too short for me to even see his messages.
And I'm double tapping him. Every time he messages me, I forget who it is, and my first question to him is, how old are you? Because that's what I ask anybody who DMs me who kind of looks like a girl. I just ask how old they are.
Jan,
and if they're over 18, I say, send your books.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jan, this is the time of year Jan needs to be picking up a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of elf work that's going around this time of year.
It's what it is.
So I want the kid to go get a little extra work.
Yeah, I want
to see him at the mall.
I want to put Jan in a mailbox and mail him to my daughter.
He'll fit.
Yeah, we got to start bringing Jan in.
We got to start bringing Jan in. Yeah, what's his Instagram, Zach, so the fans can know who Jan is?
It's Jan the Second Official on Instagram.
Yeah, the Instagram names are too long.
Yeah, it's too long. You guys got to work on your marketing.
And it's Jan with a J.
Yeah, and your marketing shirt that you give me, I have no idea what it is. It doesn't. I don't even think it's your shirt. I think you went to fucking Rite Aid and just got a $5 shirt and said, "Here's my merch."
Listen, when Neil deGrasse Tyson gets in here, we got some nice questions.
Yeah, because
we should have tweeted this out yesterday to our fans and asked what the fans want to know.
Yeah, we should.
But then it would have just been wild.
It would have been weird.
Like, what if the Nazis won World War II? Would they steal Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, we got
questions like that.
Yeah, we would have fans saying, "Yeah, Neil, we know you're a scientist. Here's the thing. I got this little weird thing on my dick. What is it?
What is it?
You guys, that's inappropriate.
Yeah, our fans would be like, hey, Neil deGrasse Tyson, is there like a concoction you can make that I can make cement in my sink so I don't have to fucking, I can have a business out of my sink?
Neil deGrasse Tyson,
no.
Here's the thing. Now, I'm not saying climate change doesn't exist. I'm just saying, how did the Chinese do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did they pull that off? How did those fucking little guys pull that off?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, is there any way that you could give Donald Trump a letter for me?
Yeah, now, Neil deGrasse Tyson, here's the question. Now, I've seen all these documentaries about UFOs, and I know that the Navy just said that they saw a UFO, but how come fucking UFO kids always look fucking Chinese? I mean, these fucking kids Chinese because they're fucking Chinese everywhere.
Yeah, it's Chinese everywhere.
Yeah, it's a character piece, yeah.
Yeah, it's what it is.
It's character. But do you ever notice that the Asian kids do look a little Chinese?
What, the Asian kids look Chinese?
No, that's a stupid point.
Yeah, you're Franks and beans.
That's why Sirius decided to have us in here, because they just wanted 3 scientists to sit down.
It's what it is,
Yeah.
Cuz, make no mistake,
Yeah.
we have, and Neil's a real alpha male.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be fun for 2 girls like us to interview an alpha male.
That's what it is. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson make no mistake, though, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a kid from the BX.
He's a kid from the fucking
Let's
Bronx.
look at- Yeah, I mean, the kid is just straight, and he's an outer borough kid.
It's an Attleboro kid. You know what I would like to see? Neil deGrasse Tyson box and Mike Tyson do science.
That's what I'd like to see.
That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. You know what
Should
else?
we set that up? Should we ask him? Is that an okay question to ask?
Absolutely. When we get big, we'll set that up and we'll do it at fucking Staples Center like Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Here's what's interesting is Neil deGrasse Tyson is a kid from the Bronx. Not a lot of kids from the Bronx get into science.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. So, so we're just going to do the things we want to do without him and just prepare it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see how it feels. Yeah, a lot of them don't get into science.
Yeah, you see,
a lot
because
of
we
them
were
get into, a lot of them get into my mother's bank account.
Yeah.
Like my dad.
Look at Yeah, because you know what? If we don't get a chance to get that joke off, at least we just got it
At
in.
least we can get it in.
Because we're a podcast. We take down the fourth wall.
We take down the fourth wall.
We let our fans know too much.
It's just what it is.
I got a message from a fan who says he's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And he listens to our podcast. He said, stop. He said, tell Chris specifically to stop talking about where you moved to, because I'm paid to think about how the worst people think, and I can find out where you live.
Yeah.
So tell Chris to stop saying where you moved
Westchester.
to. Yeah, it's Westchester.
It's Westchester.
That's
Because,
it.
make no mistake, I'm a horny kid because I've been celibate, and NDT, Neil deGrasse Tyson, could get kissed on the lips immediately. You're going to get punched through.
Yeah, I mean, because you're...
If we're going to say it, we got to say it before he gets in here, because his publicist will strike it down.
Yeah.
His publicist is an Eastern Hemi who means business.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I saw her yesterday, and she's fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
I asked her about him, and she wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean...
Wei Shang-Xian.
Yeah, Wei Shang-Xian. Yeah, we're just joking a little bit.
We're just kidding around. No, they're great people.
Everything's great.
Everything's great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Neil to come in. I have a feeling he's going to cancel.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're just going to end up interviewing Venetia.
I have a feeling that they're on their way here now, and his publicist is doing just a last minute, who are these guys? And she's going to play 1 minute of one episode and turn that car around.
Yeah, and Venetia, we're leaving after this. We're not having another meeting.
Yeah, I can't. I got to go to my kid's Christmas party.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah.
So it's what it is. We're excited to have Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson is checked in downstairs.
He's here. So
Paul wrote it on this napkin.
What?
Now,
Yeah.
Was supposed to be concealed, and I just put it on the camera. Anyway, Paul, what you're going to learn about History Hyenas is there's no secrets.
Yeah.
As look as.
Yeah. So Neil deGrasse Tyson's in. He's teaching a masterclass. Masterclass costs $90 if you want to hear a specific one, or $180 if you want an all-access pass.
Listen,
that's a lot of money.
And listen, Yannis is going to be the one always saying the word masterclass, because I'm too German of a kid to say the word master.
Yeah, it's just not a good word coming out of your face.
With my Nazi head, so Yannis is just going to say it, and I'm just going to sit silently.
Yeah, and we went into the what is it called, the SUV lane? What is that lane called?
The HOV lane.
We went into the HOV lane this morning, which means you have to have at least 3 people in your car to not get pulled over by a cop.
Yeah.
And then we had a cop right there staring right at us, and Chris goes, "We're getting pulled over." But because Chris's head is so big, the kid thought 6 kids were in the car.
Yeah, well, and also it's one of those things where
we didn't get pulled over.
Where it's like the rules specifically say that you have to have 3 people or more to be in the HOV lane, or 2 white guys. It's up to you. It's just the
That's
what the New York, he said, it's either 2, if it's 2 white men, that's the same as 3 others.
Yeah, I mean, when that trooper was looking straight at us,
thank you.
He was looking right at us. He's going, "Is that Sean Terry and Patty Mulroney?
Yeah.
I can't give those firefighters a ticket. They get courtesy."
He pulled us over, and he just gave us a napkin that said ladder 14.
Yeah, because make no mistake, when I got my glasses on and you're in the passenger seat, you look like you're a firefighter who's got some charges, and I look like your lawyer.
Because make no mistake, I'm friendly with my present, and I'm in the present right now because I have to take a shit, and I'm not going to do it because it's pushing on my prostate, and it's keeping me in the moment. What? So I want to be in the moment for Neil, so unfortunately, I'm going to flare my prostate. Here it comes!
Eckhart Tolle. Shout out to Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle, I'm friendly with the present.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There he is.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is in the building, everybody.
How are you, sir?
Thank you so much. Hi.
That's Chris.
I saw you the other day.
Yannis.
Hey,
Nice to meet you. Pleasure.
Yes,
Nice
we were there.
Yeah.
Yes, we're
I'd
there.
be in your house.
Yeah.
Who's the bear over there?
I mean, that's a kid who should be back in
This
the
is
hospital
Zach.
he escaped from. Yeah.
This is Zach, our sound guy,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Zach's a beautiful human being.
Yeah.
He's some Star Wars character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just saw it, and I think he got a little overenthused.
I did. I liked it.
Did you catch it at midnight?
Like 10:30.
Ooh, is that allowed?
Yes.
It was
A
yesterday.
pre-midnight showing?
Listen, Zach has tattoos on his fingers. He breaks the rules.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
That's what it is.
He's a kid who's never going to have a real day job. You can't go into
I'm
an
just
interview.
following you guys wherever you go now.
Yeah. So it's such an honor to have you, man.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good.
Yes,
Thanks for being
definitely.
here. Yeah, you're a kid from the Bronx.
Even though this is radio, I know you got some cameras. I'm all blinged out. For
Look at
you.
this.
I just
You
want
look
you to
great.
know.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I'm wearing my Starry Night vest.
Yeah.
It's
And but I also have Starry Night pocket square. How about that?
That's
beautiful.
very nice.
I don't mean to show off.
Okay,
or anything.
yeah.
Kid, you're put together. That's what we know.
Yeah.
We're three New York kids.
Yeah.
We got Brooklyn and the Bronx.
No, Bronx in the house.
Yes.
Yes.
Queens over there.
Queens.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Queen,
Does-
yeah, no, I'm not a big
Queens
fan.
in the house doesn't have the same.
It doesn't.
It's like
Brooklyn
Highway
in the
from
house.
Queens.
Yeah.
Bronx in the house. Queens.
Queens, yeah.
Across the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queens, we're still here. Don't forget us.
Yeah.
That's what Queens is.
Actually, though, Queens lately has really gotten quite hip. It's got all the immigrants, so it's
Yeah.
got all the good food.
Yeah.
And then you got to remember, Queens has both New York airports
Yes.
and the tennis centers.
Yes.
And it had the World's Fair.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to work at the tennis center when I was a kid. That's what a lot of Queens, Brooklyn kids would do at the U.S. Open. I was
Yeah.
a ball boy and then a court attendant.
You one of these kids that ran across the thing to get the ball?
Yep. Me.
I look at, even when I was a kid, I said, can a machine do that? This is such manual
Well,
labor.
we thought-
Haven't we landed on the moon?
Yeah.
and we have child labor gathering tennis balls on a field.
Well,
Yeah.
and tennis is such like a respectable elite sport. So like in Wimbledon and the French Open, they get politicians' children. It's a job. It's a beautiful
Right.
job. But the U.S. Open, for whatever reason, New York City, they just go into the outer boroughs and they get the kids off the streets, and we do it. So we didn't even know the respect of the game. You know what I mean? Like we're
yeah.
ball boys, we're cursing.
You're like, the ball's over there.
Yeah, like go get it.
Go get the ball over there,
Kids
bitch.
on the side. I'm like, this guy Federer is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming in. You're teaching it finally. What took so long for them to ask you to teach a master
actually,
class?
Don't tell anybody this, but they asked me a few years ago, and they said, "Can you teach a course in astrophysics?" And I said, "No, because I already do that, and I write books, and I was a professor, and I'm not going to come to a master class and teach astrophysics there. I've done that 10 times over. Here's what I can do. Let me teach you how to teach." I think a lot about that.
Yeah.
And they said, no, that's not commercial enough. I said, fine, goodbye.
Yeah.
No, but money and it's this, and you'll be in the company of these other. I said, no, I'm sorry. I've already do this other thing. And then a few years later, they came back and said, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know
The
what.
power of no. That's what it's about.
So
Yeah.
so this master class, which it was released yesterday, it's me showing you what's been going on under the hood all these years. And under the hood is when I'm talking about the universe to you, there's a lot going on in my head before those sentences come out. And not to destroy the magic
Yeah.
of these moments,
Yeah.
but I'm pulling a lot out of my utility belt
Yeah.
to decide what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, depending on who it is that's listening.
Yeah, because you're a great communicator. And
Yeah,
it's
otherwise-
not an easy thing to
No,
talk
it's not.
about. Yeah.
And so I guess my biggest compliment is when people say, "Oh, you're so natural at it."
Yeah.
And I say, you have no freaking idea
Yeah.
what was behind it. Another one, I'll give a public talk, for example, and there's the applause, and someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, you were having a good time up there."
Yeah.
That's one response. Another
Yeah.
one is, "You were working hard up
Yeah.
there." To a person,
Yeah.
that person that said it is a school teacher.
Yeah.
Because they see what was going on. So
Yeah.
So this class is it's an exploration of what it is to be scientifically literate and how to communicate that literacy.
It sounds wild. Anything to get inside Neil deGrasse Tyson's head, I'm paying money for. Okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take an edible and pay $90 and strap up and put on my seatbelt.
Yeah,
I'm going inside Neil's head.
It's inside the head. It really it really is. You're going to see what I'm thinking when I'm thinking.
I mean, that's to me, it's like because I always think about that with great thinkers like you. It's like, what do they sit and think about? Because it's like, I know, like me, I'm like, I just feel like there's just cartoon music playing in my head all the time. I'm just an idiot. And I'm like, what about...
Just as long as you're not hit by an anvil.
What about one of the greatest thinkers of our time? So that's something like, even you explain it, and I'm like, I was on the fence and I'm in now.
Well, so here's one of the sentences that I shared in the course. It's one of the great challenges in life is knowing enough about something to think you're right, but knowing not enough about that same thing to know that you're wrong.
Wow, I like that.
I like that.
And there are a lot of people in that zone.
Yeah.
Who, take a flat earther for example. They all know they're right. That's because they don't know enough to know that they're wrong.
Right.
And the people trapped in that sort of eddy, it's an intellectual turbulence where you think you know what's going on and you don't. So part of the challenge of the educator is getting them to understand why they're not thinking it's right. And you can't just say, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know, because then they'll dig their heels in stronger. We know this, right? If someone wants to fight you, you're going to fight back. So it requires some art of persuasion. You say, well, why do you think that? And have you considered this? And what about that? And then they arrive at the right answers themselves. And then they take ownership of their new knowledge. Otherwise, I don't want anybody to say, this is true because Tyson said so.
Right.
Then I failed as an educator.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's more about the cult of personality and not the truth. Exactly.
I had somebody who was sure, a full-grown adult man, sure we never landed on the moon. And I said, okay, so this is here I go. Ready?
Do you ever get frustrated and just go, you're fucking stupid. You're just stupid. Why?
Okay, so
I want to help you, but you're dumb. You're barely sliding into human being, and I'm sorry.
So I said, when he said this, I said, it is time. Okay? So we had a conversation, and I said, here's the Saturn V rocket. You saw the rocket? Yeah. Do you know where the astronauts are? They're in like the top inch of that rocket. Everything else is fuel. Where do you think they were going with all that fuel? You can calculate how much fuel that is. It's enough to go into orbit, leave orbit, go to the moon, orbit the moon, come back to the moon, and come back to Earth. It's that much fuel. Okay? So where do you think they were going to? The A&P? Or what? Like what?
Wow, shout out A&P, old school.
I know, old school.
Neil deGrasse just went old school.
I totally went old school on you.
They were going to Woolworths.
They were going to the Five and Dime.
The Five and Dime? Where are you going?
Optimo Cigars.
Okay, no. Where you going? Whole Foods,
Yeah.
So, Optimo Cigars. Ballantine Ale, right? There you go.
New York City reference.
That's a big ad in Yankee Stadium. Was it Ballantine? Was it Ballantine? What's the rings? With the Michelob.
Michelob. Yeah.
One of them. Anyhow, so I tried to work through some reasoning, and you know what he said to me? He said, "Neil, if you tell me we landed on the moon, then I'll believe it." And I said, "No, that's not how this works."
Right.
Because that's the culting of information.
Right.
No, it's not true because I said so.
Right.
It's true because it's true, and you need to understand why.
Right.
And when you understand why, I don't ever want you to reference back to me ever again.
You should be able to understand it.
Take ownership of it, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know I've succeeded if once I've taught you what I've taught you, you forgot that I even shared it with you.
I'm gonna have me and my 4-year-old daughter going to watch your Masterclass.
Yeah.
I'm changing my even my 4-year-old daughter. We're gonna start thinking like Neil from right now.
You start them early.
This is how it is. She's 4 years old, and we're gonna do it. Enough eating your boogers. We're starting to talk science with Neil immediately.
Now, why do you?
Wait, was she saying that to you? Stop eating your boogers?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Her mom
Actually,
yells
he
at me.
does.
He didn't say who was saying that to who.
I know her mom always tells me, he's like, where's she, I'm like, our daughter's eating her boogers. He's like, yeah, look at you. That's what you're doing. Wild.
Do you think there's an assault on objective reality now?
Yes.
What is going on? How did this happen?
Because people, I don't know who to blame. All right, let me be a little heretical. Let me first blame psychologists. Okay, I not really want to blame them. I'm just doing that for the fun of it. Okay, so what is psychologists? Psychologists will tell you your feelings matter. Okay, they're important. And now I feel like there's no global warming. So all of a sudden, your feelings are elevated to the level of fact.
Right.
And you vote, so you get to control the influence of your feelings on everybody. And so I don't mean specifically emotion, happy or sad. It's just you want things to be a particular way.
Yeah.
And you feel like it shouldn't be what the scientist is telling you. The fact that is given equal credence against objective truths is one of the great tragedies of modern society. And it's the beginning of the unraveling of an informed democracy. Okay, so now let's pull psychologists out of that, because I just did that for fun. I think somewhere in the educational arc, we're missing, in the science class, you don't just teach what is, you don't just teach what is known, you teach what science is as an enterprise, what it is and how and why it works. What does it mean to be a skeptic? What does it mean to understand information and trust that information, this information, relative to that information? All right? And so that's missing in the school system. And so if you think the earth is flat, I'm not even going to blame you. I'm going to say something happened in your school, in K through 12 that needs to be changed so that we preempt this kind of thinking as we go forward. By the way, in a free country, you should be able to think what you want and say what you want. But if you have power over others, that's when objective reality matters, because we all share the same objective reality, even if we don't share your personal truth.
Right.
Wow.
Do you think our comfort level as a civilization has something to do with it? Are we just too coddled? Are the amenities of modernity just driving everyone crazy and disconnecting us with reality?
I can't argue against that.
Yeah.
I think that's, let me say it another way. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm going to say it another way. The same people who are up there say, "Oh, no climate change, and Earth is flat." And
it was invented by the Chinese.
And I read my
It was
heart.
invented by the Chinese. Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Shout out.
That's the real question we want to ask you, Neil.
Question.
We know the Chinese invented, but how did they do it?
Not a 14-minute character piece.
Right. The whole question starts with the premise, right? That's like saying, Dr. Tyson, what kind of cheese is the moon made out of? You know? No, it's not made of cheese. The question has no
Pecorino
meaning.
Romano, the moon's Italian.
As look as. That's a character piece.
Character piece.
You know what I learned recently? I didn't know this. Romano cheese is very structurally similar to Parmesan cheese. We know this.
Yeah.
Because you grate it and it comes out in small bits.
Yeah.
And I learned, I think I'm right. You got Italian roots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Distefano is my last name.
Distefano.
Yeah,
all right.
but I did the Ancestry.com, found that I'm mostly German, so now I'm confused.
Yeah. I'll get back to that in a minute if you're interested.
Yeah,
but
I'm very interested.
I have so much to say on that.
You've changed my whole life in 10 minutes. So
Okay,
yeah.
I have issues with Ancestry.com.
And I have new issues to bring up to my psychologist after this interview.
As look as.
So I think Romano is sheep's milk version of what Parmesan is.
Wow.
So I've been eating sheep's milk?
Sheep's milk in Romano, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And Parmesan is to the cow what
The sheep.
what the pecorino,
The sheep's milk is to the pecorino.
to the pecorino, correct.
So you're saying, okay, wow. So pecorino Romano cheese is more Greek then, if it's from the sheep's.
Well,
Because
we
the
do-
Italians do the cows, you guys do the sheep's and the goats.
Goats and sheeps, yeah.
Where are you talking about?
I'm Greek.
He's a Greek kid. He's
so
100% Greek.
we got the whole Mediterranean here.
Yeah.
But then 25% Turkish. He just found out, so he got
Yeah.
a big reveal from the
Yeah.
mortal enemy.
I only recently learned. I'm embarrassed just being a geographically starved American. I only in the last 5 years fully understood and now recognize the history between the Greeks and the Turks.
Oh yeah.
I had not, and that's the whole Gallipoli
The
thing.
Ottoman Empire.
Yeah,
Bad boys.
the whole thing.
They gave us a few boo-boos.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what. Listen, what they say about you, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened. I was on a Mediterranean cruise, and we had a Greek tour guide telling us all about the wars, and then they got off, and then a Turkish tour guide got on, got a whole lot of
You got the
story
other
there.
perspective, yeah. Well, they're lying. They're lying. It's my truth that matters. Objective reality doesn't matter.
And I got another one just to close out the Mediterranean. So in there, I said, well, let me look at the movie Gallipoli. So I looked at it because it's the British engaging the Turks in that region. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I just learned something. So the Brits basically got their ass whooped.
Yeah.
Okay? If you ask Brits what happens in battles when they got their ass whooped, they will say, oh, our command chain failed, or this failed, or that failed. They will never say, our opponent just whipped our ass because they were better than us.
Yeah.
You will never get that explanation when Britain loses a battle.
Yeah.
The assumption is that they would have and should have won had they not blundered in some way that they could have avoided.
Yep.
Which is a good mentality.
Well, sure, if you're the soldier, but historically, that's
inaccurate.
It's very ego. It's your ego speaking there.
Right. But it's a good mentality to have if you're a warrior.
If you're a warrior,
we could have just always looking for your mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, could have done
and you
better.
read the terms, so yeah, we kicked their ass.
Yeah,
is what that was. But anyhow, so this is a slightly different subject.
Yeah.
I have a book that came out a couple of months ago. It's called Letters from an Astrophysicist. There's more under the hood, by the way. I'm communicating with people who have issues about life, the universe, and everything. It's not just questions about the universe. It's questions about their relationship to the universe.
Right.
I got people who wondering about a career choice. As a professional baseball player, he's in the minor league. You say he can throw a ball 100 miles an hour, can run 60 yards in 6.2 seconds. He says, but my first love is astrophysics. What should I do? So, people like trying to figure this stuff out. People raised in certain religious traditions and are trying to see, okay, how can I reconcile my love and respect for God with this science I just learned at the beginning of the universe and Earth and apes and all that. So there's a lot of that in the book. Well, one of them was a request of me to do an ancestry search.
Okay.
In fact, it was by Skip Gates from up at Harvard.
Yeah.
He does that, the PBS show,
Yeah.
Finding Your Roots.
Yeah.
So I declined because if you think about it, any two people in the world have a common ancestor. So if you say, I'm Italian, well, I'm going to ask you, where were you born?
St. John's Hospital, Queens, New York.
That is not Italy. Okay, let's start there.
Or Bavaria.
Okay,
Yeah, that's Queens Boulevard.
And you Greek dude, where were you born?
I was born at NYU Hospital.
Everyone?
Yeah.
So all right.
a little elite fuck.
Okay, all right. So
I'm from Burn Slope.
all right. What? So where were your parents born?
My dad was born in the Bronx,
Okay.
and my mother was born at St. John's Hospital, in Queens, New York.
So here's what we do. Wait. So this Italian gentleman here, where he's born in the city, his parents are born. So what happens is people will take their ancestry back to a point that pleases them, and then declare that as their ancestry.
Right.
And that point where you take it back is completely arbitrary.
Right.
It is completely arbitrary. And there's another someone I say, we are Swedish, and I say, well, where were you born?
Yeah.
And they said New York. Where were your parents born? Oh, Minnesota. Where were their parents born? Minnesota. Where were their parents born? Sweden. So we're Swedish.
And then you can keep going back until you move. Yeah,
Okay, so
I get what
I'm
you're
saying that since that line is arbitrary, because you're just going to a point that satisfies you.
Yeah.
Recognize that's arbitrary,
Right.
and do one of two things. Say, I'm a New Yorker, because you're born in New York.
Right.
Or be honest and say, you're African.
Yes.
Because that's where we're all
That's where we all
from.
Absolutely.
Walk out
I'm from Africa. You heard it here first.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not only from Africa, you're African.
I'm African.
Okay, if you're going to say you're Italian, you are more African than you are Italian.
Absolutely. Happy Kwanzaa.
Do you think the world would be a better place if we just by edict just said, look, there's no more religions, no more cultures now, because the world is so interconnected, we're
what I
so
would say
advanced,
is,
we're
they
human
say,
beings.
Would say, what race are you? I say, I'm the human race.
Right.
Okay, fine. Now, you want to talk about culture? Fine, go ahead.
Right.
If you are influenced by Italian culture, fine, you eat Italian food. You say, I am influenced by Italian culture.
Yeah.
You say, I'm Italian, I'm not, I can't really.
Yeah.
Plus, Italy wasn't even a country
Yeah.
until, the 1800s.
Well,
it was just city-states.
I just read that book, Sapiens, which was a fascinating book to me. It's probably
Excellent
a
book.
coloring book for you. But
No!
It's toilet reading.
Oh, yeah, look at this.
It's him on the toilet.
Wait,
just
your door stop. Wait,
Yeah,
hold
these
up.
little
No.
theories but what he was saying about
Well-
culture too, and it kind of made me think. Number one, with countries, it's just lines on a map. It's just something it means nothing.
When you're on the moon and you look back at Earth, you see Earth as nature intended you to view it. There's no color-coded countries. It is just land, seas, clouds.
Well, but at night, you got to admit, you could see a little bit because
Barely, not from
it's
the
all
moon.
lit up, but North
Not-
Korea's
not-
dark.
Not really from the moon. Not really from the moon. You're
Oh, you
not
can't
seeing the
see it.
lights. They're
Okay.
not
Yeah.
that bright enough. Or low orbit, you can check it. I'm just saying
Right.
that the color-coded boundaries,
Yeah.
you have to. It reminds you that you're taught that.
Yeah. Right.
That somebody drew a line in the sand, and they're going to kill you if you
Yeah.
cross that line in the sand.
Right.
And then you realize it goes even deeper than that. Not only will I kill you if you cross the line, you have to worship who I worship, whether or not you cross the line in the sand. Otherwise, I'll kill you.
Right.
All right. And this gets it gets socially, culturally entangled all the way down. and it's frankly it's embarrassing.
Yeah, well, that's what it was talking about cultural appropriation. It was like, in a lot of cases, like whatever you believe your culture is really what, if your great grandparents saw what you were doing, they'd be mortified because that's what the people who came over and took their land, pillaged and raped and conquered into their culture. So the culture appropriation, it's like, what are you talking about? We're all humans.
We're
We're all humans, like you said.
And cultures influence other cultures.
So it's all one.
I don't have a problem with. So you're saying get rid of? No, I have no interest in getting rid of the diversity of expressions of rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Rituals form some of the strongest taproot of civilization that we've had. The problem arises if you practicing your ritual, you have power over others and require that they practice your same ritual.
Yep.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Agreed.
But in a pluralistic land, you celebrate people's diversity. I love it. Right. I love eating the food that came out of this country or that country. And I'm not going to say make it the same. No, that would take away a very important part of what it is to be human.
Right.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, deep down in there's tribalism. Right. And that's the unraveling of civilization itself.
It seems like because you're an astrophysicist, you've pulled your perspective back so wide.
It's a cosmic perspective.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you think broadly. How can that help people to see it the way you see it if they're not as educated or as smart as you are to be able to grok all this kind of astrophysical stuff?
Well, I'm highly educated in ways that enable.
I mean, you went to Harvard. You're a smart kid.
Well, no.
Shout out National Community
Not
College.
everybody can get into Harvard. Yeah. Yeah.
No, if you judge me as smart, I would want you to have arrived at that conclusion because we had an encounter, not because you have any knowledge of my pedigree. The moment you put the pedigree forward and use that as the measure of whether someone's smart, no. That's not how that works.
No, but you're also saying smart stuff.
No,
so the pedigree. I'm just saying the pedigree checks out.
Okay,
I heard you were a smart kid. You came in here. You started saying smart stuff.
No, if someone said, "Believe me, because I went to this school or that school," you haven't earned the person. That's you saying, "I'll believe you because of that,"
right?
Not because I convinced you,
right?
Not so that's why I never. If someone else will introduce me, they might say it. But if I'm just coming out on stage, I don't say, "Oh, here's my background," or "Here's." I don't lead with my background.
I felt the same way when I first started doing comedy. I thought an accolade about me that people should know is I have a clinical doctorate in physical therapy, and I'm an idiot from Brooklyn, but it's like I was smart in one thing. I went to my mother, highly educated. My dad was a criminal, and my mother was just like, "You will not do that. You'll do this." So I was like, "I have a doctorate degree," and then it started to give the illusion to people that I knew everything, that I was you or something like that. And it's like, no, I can massage your hamstrings. That's all I know how to do, and I can barely do that. So it's like
But it's a deep tissue. The hamstring.
Yeah, I can get, but I feel the same way where it's like, who cares about what your education was or any accolades?
You have a moment in front of them to be all you can and should be in front of them.
Even getting called to stage like you, like very rarely, the great comedian Don Herrera, I don't know if you know his work, he told me once, he was like, the more credits a comedian asks you to bring them up as, the worse they probably are. The real ones will just take
their
stage.
name is the credit.
That's
Jerry
my point.
Seinfeld,
Well, not even that, but even a one who's unknown. Like, just take the stage and let me prove it.
Correct.
If you laugh at me, it's great.
There you go. And so I feel that way academically as well.
Right.
Yeah. So now, where were we right before you?
No, I was saying
Before you derailed the line of.
Yeah. What do you know about the history of Christmas? That's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Well, your master class is, I assume, going to teach people how to have more of this sort of mentality without being so educated at Harvard.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's the second time you
don't
mentioned
got to
Harvard.
be a genius to be a smarter kid.
No, so all I'm saying is I remained curious after school. Mm-hmm. Think about what happens in school now. You come out at, it could be just before summer break, or maybe you just graduated. We know people, if not among ourselves, will take your class notes and toss them in the air and say, "School's out." Right. Plus, there's a song.
Yeah.
School's out forever. School's out forever.
Yeah.
Who is that? That's it's Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
So there's even a song celebrating this. And I'm saying, what? Your only job was to learn. Now you're glad you're not supposed to learn anymore?
Yeah.
What? So again, I'm not blaming you. I'm saying in the school, something is wrong if you are glad it's over. Mm. And so something needs to change so that your curiosity is stimulated. So when you graduate, that's the beginning of your education, not the end of it. And not to sound cliche, but what do you think the word commencement means? It means beginning.
Right. The commencement speech is the beginning speech.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
So
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We're basically blaming the educators.
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got to figure out a better way,
with,
like
with,
you
with
do.
a little detour to the psychologists. on the other
Psychologists,
side.
educators, and the Chinese. Always got to blame the Chinese.
Do you know about the history of Christmas? Do you have any?
I know it's a relatively recent phenomenon. I mean, the idea that you would celebrate a birthday is also very modern.
Yeah.
In Christianity, your birthday was assigned to the christened name that you received. So there'd be the day of the saint after whom you're named.
Yeah.
And so I was christened, but there's no Saint Neil. So I was actually
There will be.
no.
When you go, there will be.
Yes.
I'm going to canonize you.
You're going to canonize. There's this. I don't think anybody knows this. My baptismal certificate says Cornelius because there's a Saint Cornelius.
Yeah.
So I'm actually Cornelius deGrasse Tyson in the baptismal certificate, but I'm otherwise Neil in my birth certificate. So your birth was celebrated on the day ascribed to that saint. So the idea of giving presents for a birthday is relatively new. Now Christmas, all right, this was a brilliant maneuver by the Catholic Church back when all Christians were Catholic. And so what do? You got all these pagans. They're running around.
Yeah. Doing their pagan shit.
Doing their pagan stuff. Dancing naked around the bonfire.
Jesus.
Pagan stuff.
Which sounds like a good time.
It sounds like
That's exactly what I'm going to do after your Masterclass. I'm going to be free, baby.
Yeah. I mean, the pagans partied a lot better than the Christians did.
So here's what happened. So one of the celebrations took place a few days after the first day of winter. Okay, so today we're around that time, around the first day of winter. Well, what's happening? I don't know if you noticed, but as you approach winter, the sun, the arc of the sun from sunrise to sunset, gets lower and lower in the sky as the days go by. Mm-hmm. That's when the sun in the summer sun is very high in the midday. In the winter, it's very low. Shadows are long. The ancients noticed this. As you approach December 21st, the arc got lower and lower and lower. And you're a sun-worshiping civilization. This is some scary stuff, okay? Because if this keeps going, the sun will dip below the horizon and never come up again. That's scary. Yeah. So what do? You pray to your gods, and the movement of the sun slows down. It stops. Solstice, stationary sun. Armistice, stationary arms. Okay? It's Latin. Sol is the sun, stis stops. So the sun stops getting lower, and then you begin to notice it come back up. That happens a few days after December 21st. That happens around December 25th. Yeah. Celebrations abound. Now, you want everyone to be monotheistic, not
polytheistic.
Polytheistic. So, what you do is you co-opt pre-existing celebrations.
Smart move.
It's a smart move.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Tactical, marketing, strategic, all of the above.
Yeah.
So you say, well, while the birth of Jesus we think of as a very important event today, nowhere near as important as Easter. Easter, that's the canon right there. That's Jesus dying on the cross for your sins. The fact that he was born is kind of incidental.
Everyone's born.
He's not really Jesus Christ yet. He didn't do his miracles. He's just a baby.
Right.
All right? So, but there was still an unassigned holiday. So let's put the birth of Jesus there. It's an unknown date, by the way. They think it might have been sometime in the spring, based on descriptions of
shepherds,
and when they make the pecorino cheese, you know,
absolutely,
yeah. The kid went surfing. It was around spring.
That's in the Bible. Left that part out.
Yeah.
So
Gospel of Luke. Yeah.
So you assign that. Now you can port people over from whatever was their previous celebration to a Christian celebration, and that enabled it to take firm hold, and Santa Claus would come much later, of course.
Right.
He's a modern.
Well, when Santa Claus started to come, it's actually like anything else that happens great in this country. It came out of New York City, baby. 18th century, late 18th century, Thomas Nast, he was a Civil War Union propaganda artist, and he created the idea, the image that
image, okay, that we think
Santa
of
Claus.
as Santa Claus.
Yeah, but it was really a Union soldier with, toy. There weren't toys. It was like, what was it in his sack? It was
Military apparel.
military equipment,
Yeah.
and the midnight thing was like Senate is running out of time to re-enlist soldiers. It was a whole propaganda
I think I
thing.
read this long ago, but I've forgotten all about it.
Yeah?
The Nast
Did
illustration.
we just teach Neil something?
I think that just happened. Yeah.
Wait, and the Nast, if I remember that illustration, is very textured and rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
it
go.
is right there.
Yeah.
It's like totally it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he looks like just a drunk Irish kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's, he's a drunk Irish kid.
That's
Yeah.
look
His name should be Shawnee Donnelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Say-
there's so often there are traditions and rituals we think are deep and long ago, but no, somebody just invented them.
Right.
And even the Christmas tree is a secular thing. It's just but it was attached to the Christmas holidays, and so now you got there are plenty of Jewish people who have Christmas trees.
Right. Oh no, I grew up in Brooklyn. Jews, a lot of Jews. All my Jewish friends had Christmas trees.
Oh, so you're Jewish Greek?
No, I'm all Greek, but my friends.
No,
were
you
Jewish.
said you were fourth Turkish. I heard that at the beginning.
26%,
I pay
yeah.
26%.
But now that I
counts
know-
as a fourth.
Yeah, that's what Ancestry.
Wait. By the way, wait. 26. There's no. You're not getting 26.
That's what they told me.
No, it's 25.
Yeah.
25. Okay.
Yeah, because you can only split by twos.
Right.
So you have 50%, 25%, 12.5%, 1/8, 1/16. You're not getting 26%.
Okay, 25.
Unless you are Greek so long ago that it's split into 100 parts and you can divide it that closely.
And-
You're 1/4 Greek.
I'm 100% African.
Yeah,
According to you, that's what I am. That's what I am. There it is, baby.
Yeah.
Exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Saint Nick was actually Turkish.
Yeah, I was going to
before.
say, I got news for you, babe. He's a Turkish kid. St. Nicholas was born in 280 AD in Patara, near Mira, in modern-day Turkey. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do now?
Yeah, I mean the Turks
Yeah.
win again.
Yeah,
There's
the
nothing
Turks
you can't
win
do.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a Turkish Christian, though. Would it be Coptic or whatever? Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed is all the religions, when you go back far enough, they started with worship of the sun, which is interesting because it seems like science was the initial religion because it was all based on the sun. They all started worshiping
Sun
the sun.
matters. You know that it makes your crops grow.
Yeah.
It keeps you warm. It's not a weird fact that the sun would matter to you in your lives. And generally, you worship things that matter. I think a lot about. There's a strong religious tradition to say a prayer before a meal, and I say, well, why? I ask myself that. Then I realize that most of the history of civilization, you really didn't know when your next meal was coming. Food was a cherished commodity. And so if you had food, you were thankful. Nowadays, if you have food, you say, no, I got to go to the gym and work this off.
Yeah.
You can't pull an orange off the stack in the grocery store without the whole pyramid spilling out onto the ground.
Right.
We are awash in food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yet we are still praying, being thankful for the food on the table.
Right.
America might be the only country with overweight homeless people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Just think about that.
Yeah.
So
The rich are skinny, and the poor,
and poor
are
people are fat.
Well, that's throughout history was the opposite.
With
Yeah.
access to calories,
Yeah.
which is cheap calories are so.
worst.
So I thought, if you're going to pray today, what might you pray for if you were to change that ritual to something that was cherished or rare? And I'm thinking maybe you should pray for yourself to understand objective truths. How about that? Because that would be the foundations of the advance of civilization.
Yeah. It seems like there's now an extreme right and extreme left, and what they have in common is they both kind of deny science a little bit.
Yeah. So
It's like one's climate change, one's biology on one side.
Well, no. So there's some in the extreme right that will also deny biology, say we are specially created by God. All right. So again, we're in a free country. I don't have a problem with that. It's only, again, if you rise to power and take your personal belief and then pass laws that have to apply to everyone in a pluralistic country.
Yeah.
All right. You're denying the freedoms that were fought for over many generations in so doing. So that's just an important fact. The liberal left likes to claim and assert that the conservative right is in science denial with climate change, which they are. However, the very far liberal left does not have the high road in this because there's certain seriously science-denying points of view that are squarely found in the liberal left. Among them, vaccine denial.
Right.
Among them, a denial of what value and role of GMO foods. Okay? There's a whole rejection of this. And I can give you a list of things that are rejected that the only way you can reject it is if you are in denial of some or all mainstream science related to it. And so there is science denial on both extremes. And it's disturbing because you can't have a functioning democracy unless people understand what is objectively true that would then be the foundations of laws and legislation that you pass.
Right. So your master class, are you going to...
First half of the master class is I'm teaching you how to think like a scientist.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah. If maybe you don't want to think like a scientist, I'm not going to force it on you.
Right.
But if you want to know that it's there,
right,
then there's how to communicate what you know to others so that they have a chance of not falling asleep or paying attention or asking you about more or stimulating curiosity in them about what your expertise is.
I'm in. I'm doing. Yannis and I just formed a company. I'm getting Neil deGrasse Tyson's masterclass, and I'm putting it on the company credit card. Just so you know. That's happening. We're going to do it, and we're going to do podcast episodes about what he said.
Yeah.
Because it's wild.
I like that idea. Everybody, put it on your company credit card.
Seriously. I mean, if you're a company out there and you don't want your employees to think like Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah.
Very good marketing.
Yes.
Hell yeah, masterclass.
Marketing.
I'm 1,000% doing it.
Yeah.
Masterclass.
And we should do a masterclass on being stupid.
Yeah, we should do it, man. Yeah, I know. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson of the world, the Elon Musk of the world, the Stephen Hawkins of the world, R.I.P. It's like, even like as smart as my friend Yannis is, I wonder if like we always, remember we said that? We were like, do you think that they would just listen to guys like us and just hear like animal noises?
They just hear like
Charlie
Brown.
out of our faces?
Like,
even though Yannis is asking great questions, like, does he still just sound like
chip noises?
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? What are these things? You're like, putting in your buns, like, I don't want to be around this stupidity, but.
Are you a Yankee fan or Mets fan? You're a kid from the Bronx.
No, I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I was a Yankee fan.
Yes.
Okay, so I am the age where in my formative kid years, the Yankees had the longest drought ever.
Yeah.
Now, what a luxury to call a Yankee drought the consecutive years where they were not in the World Series.
Right.
That's what a Yankee drought is, all right?
Yeah.
So from early, like mid-'60s right up through 1977, I'm a kid going in through teenage years. I'm going to Yankee games. There's nobody in the stands, and they're not winning. And so my formative years, it was drought. But I'm an honest fan because I'm born and raised.
True fan. If you stuck with him through that.
Stuck with him through that, and one of my favorite billboards ever. You go across the Willis Avenue Bridge. It's not there anymore, but you'd see. Was it Willis? Whichever bridge. Where the Yankee Stadium is right in front of you from Manhattan into the Bronx. And there's a billboard there. And you see Yankee Stadium right next to it. And the billboard said, they call it the World Series, but it's usually played here. I said,
that's why they hate us.
That's so good. That's just wrong.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
That's
All
just.
right. Well, Neil, we only have a minute with you left, and you asked me questions and my Yannis I questions about, do you believe in objective truth and come from those deep places? And our question
by the way, it doesn't matter whether you believe in it.
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah, that's the good thing about science. It's true whether or not you believe in it.
Yeah, so that's deep questions.
And I talk about different truths.
Yeah.
There's your personal truth. Is Jesus your savior?
Yeah.
No, in a free country, nobody's going to take that away from you. But Jesus might not be someone else's savior.
Right.
And you have to respect that, knowing that that's your personal truth, and they got to have their personal truth.
So our question for you is, do you believe in Santa?
What's the name of that little girl that letter was written to?
Anne Frank?
No.
Greta
Thunberg.
No. The letter was written to like the New York Tribune or something.
I
don't know. Virginia, thank you. Yes, Virginia. Santa's. No. So here's.
Well, now I know what you're talking about.
So, Santa can't be real because if you add up how many Christians there are in the world and give him 24 hours to deliver gifts, how fast his reindeer would have to move, he would vaporize in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's just not really.
It's not real.
Possible.
Our sound producer Zach is crying.
Yeah.
And I'm saying.
Yeah, I was with you on the science stuff till you killed Santa. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm just saying, Santa's speed entering and re-entering the atmosphere,
Yeah.
he would vaporize.
Yeah.
So get to every Christian household,
Yeah.
in the 24-hour period that Christmas Day represents on Earth. So now let's give him special re-entry clothing so he doesn't burn up.
Right.
Okay. Then he's got to fit down the chimney. The idea that you'd have a chubby Santa coming down chimneys, I don't know who thought that up.
Your Santa better be doing keto.
I'm telling you, there'd be skinny Santa coming down your chimney. And so, also, as I don't know if you know this, but there's no land at the North Pole.
No.
Okay.
Just ice up there,
It's
right?
just ice. For now. So
Right.
Santa's workshop is on an ice floe. Yeah. For now.
Right.
Okay, so imagine the distant future where there is no ice. So Santa's workshop would have to be on a floating island, and it's warmer. Right. Santa will not be he'd be wearing in a bathing suit.
Yeah,
or
so
something.
in conclusion, just like everything, it's the Chinese that killed Santa with their
One more question.
character piece.
Is Jeff Bezos Santa?
Oh.
Yeah, that might be the Santa.
He might be the real Santa.
Oh, because he's delivering packages.
Exactly.
He can do it.
He's
doing it all
He's
at
got
once.
the delivery system.
That's what it is.
Oh, you are right.
Bezos is Santa.
Yes.
We could all order this, and we all get it tomorrow morning.
Bezos is Santa. We stumped Neil.
Better than Santa.
We disproved
Take
one of
that,
Neil deGrasse Tyson's theories.
Yes, take that AOC.
Oh, plus I calculated. Forgive me, I don't remember. I'd have to look this up. Einstein said, "Never memorize anything that you can look up. Save room for other thoughts that are in your head." So I calculated if I took his $100 billion and stacked them and laid them end to end, I just figured out how many times you can go to the moon and back. It's like 21 times
Wow,
to the
he's
moon
rich.
and back. Yeah. Then you can have money left over.
Yeah.
You could stack it high.
Yeah.
It's fun wondering how you would spend $100 billion.
So it's 21 times back and
No,
forth?
it's one of my tweets. I tweeted about a year and a half ago. You can look it up easy. Just
scroll back.
look for my name and Bezos' name. You'll go straight to it.
All right. Well,
This
Neil,
was such an
this
honor.
was fantastic.
Wait, you
We
got
really
research
appreciate it.
people here. Can't you find it?
Yeah. I mean,
you
it's
got
fine.
people-
Let's do it.
You got a crack
Yeah.
team. He's just staring at us.
You're just standing there.
We don't need you to stand there. We need you to work.
Yeah,
we need you to work,
Get
damn it.
that, dude.
Find the
I mean,
tweet.
Bezos got $21 billion. Work.
Well, no, he was at $100 billion when I did this.
100 billion, you peasant.
20. Yeah. So just my handle, which is Neil Tyson.
There it is.
There
Here's
it
the
is.
tweet.
Okay. Not that anybody asked, but Jeff. What'd you do? You broke the connection.
Oh, my God.
What kind of engineers you got in this
I know.
place?
You're fired.
I mean, what? Yeah.
What is
Oh,
it not
man.
that
It
anyone-
said that you could make it to the moon
We
and
were
back
just reading.
15
No,
times.
I word these carefully. Don't
Read
just
it, read it.
paraphrase
Yeah,
my
I mean-
tweet.
It
Let's see
says-
Zach can read. We've
You
never
cannot
seen Zach can read.
paraphrase
No.
Neil deGrasse
Yeah,
Tyson
thank
tweet
you.
in a Chewbacca suit.
It's all blurry. It says that he has delegates. There's a New York Santa. There's a Chicago Santa.
Okay, all right.
It says you can make it back 15
No,
times.
read the
and then
words,
circle.
read
Read the words,
Paul,
goddammit.
read the tweets.
Okay.
Take your shirt off.
Anybody asked, but Jeff Bezos.
You're not- we can't hear you.
$1 billion.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Here, you got me now.
No.
Yes.
Not that anybody.
Wait, he's not on
No.
there. He's not there.
No, you can't hear you.
Okay, so he's still working on it.
Jesus, if you would have just not touched the TV,
Yeah. Can someone pull it up on my
just
phone?
ruined it.
I mean, this is why Sirius is going out of business. That's look.
Is he on the
we got it,
headphones?
we
He's
got
got
it.
Not that anybody asked, but Jeff Bezos, $130 billion laid end to end, can circle Earth 200 times. That could reach the moon and back 15 times. Then, with what's left over, circle the Earth another 8 times.
Wait, you got the commas wrong on that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Damn it, dude. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Now Neil's gonna read.
Yeah. This is. Let me get my old people glasses.
Yeah.
Do you want to borrow mine? Mine are for
Are the
distance.
readers? Yeah, just-
No, they're for distance. I'm sorry.
Distance.
Has anyone got readers?
Mine is just for people with terrible vision.
Okay, here it goes. Ready? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Not that anybody asked, but Jeff Bezos is $130 billion laid end to end, can circle Earth 200 times, then reach the moon and back 15 times, then, with what's left over, circle Earth another 8 times.
Wow.
So
The inflections matter. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, the
Yes.
comma and the then.
You just got a master class on how to read a tweet, my friend.
I don't have enough money to get from my bathroom to my kitchen.
And dude has only got 130 characters. You can't. You're stumbling on the thing.
Damn.
So the point of that is, so I did the math obviously correctly, and well, it's not. might not be obvious it's correct. You can double check it if you like. But obviously, I probably did the math on that. And so I wanted you to be impressed with the first statement.
Yeah.
And then say, wow, that's a lot of money. Now we got leftovers.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you circle Earth, you know, 21 times. We got leftovers.
Yeah.
Now you stack whatever. So that was the point of that tweet.
I mean,
That
so
tweet really, it's insane how much money he has.
So it means that he's not only Santa. So Santa's wealthy.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah. It's just funny. The
Santa doesn't pay
It's funny,
taxes.
the differences between human minds, because like Neil tweets that out, and then one of my last tweets was, if you could put your nipples anywhere else on your body, where would you put them?
Really?
That was my last tweet.
No. Here's what you need to do.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get the answer.
Here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to, when you're thinking that through, try to. And by the way, I have more respect for comedians than any other profession in the world. Okay, I think you guys hold culture in the palm of your hands, and you deliver it back to us in ways that make us reflect on our very lives themselves. So, so if you're going to do that, try to add a little thing to it. So I got one for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to tweet this maybe later today.
Please do.
Okay?
I'll retweet it.
Okay.
I'll retweet too.
Okay. You can kiss yourself in the mirror, but only on the lips.
Wow.
It's true.
Neil, I'm about to kiss you.
Wow.
It's
true dat.
Yeah.
It's true dat.
I never thought about that.
This is my point.
Yeah.
So you do something that you've never thought about.
Yeah.
So in the line of move your nipples to someplace else.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who's very deadpan in his comedy?
Stephen
Wright.
Stephen Wright. So he's got one. He said, wouldn't it be weird? He said, I wonder what phones would look like if your mouth was nowhere near your ears on your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
It just happens to be close by, so you can. It's an easy thing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to think it through, don't just toss something out there.
Yeah, really
put your
think.
nipples somewhere else. Yeah, just think about it.
Wait until you see my tweets after the Masterclass. With the Masterclass, follow me on Twitter at Christy Comedy, because the tweets are going to get wild.
You know, I got a real person. Can I ask you something I'm real curious about?
So I'm going to tweet the nipple thing. I mean, not the nipple thing.
That'd be great.
Can you tweet at History Hyenas? Marketing,
History Hyenas. Follow us.
No,
Patreon.com/BayRidge.
I don't sell myself on my tweets.
Yeah.
You hardly ever see.
Your tweets are great. I follow you.
You can kiss yourself in the mirror.
Woke.
Okay. Comma.
I brought Yaya's
Comma.
cookies.
You know how to respond to commas in a thing? Okay. But only on the lips.
And then just think about that, dog.
No. If you have to say think about it, it meant what you typed didn't have that built in.
Yeah. But if you say think about it, dog, they know you're from the Bronx.
Oh, dog.
Yeah. Think about that, dog.
And I get this right here. I'm checking spelling, checking punctuation, and this is ready to go. So I'm live tweeting on your show.
History Hyenas.
History Hyenas.
No, I don't market. I don't market.
We're marketing.
We're saying it for our video because we're going to post it.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is on History Hyenas right now, live tweeting and telling us about the universe and also how to do comedy.
Yeah.
This was a pleasure.
Everyone's saying that you have to go. You have to go to another interview, but it's up to you, Neil.
Yeah, we don't care. You can stay with us.
So are you ready?
Yes.
Here it is. Tweet.
Let's retweet it quick.
Retweet it immediately.
Let's retweet it immediately.
Get it from everybody's account.
Everybody
What's your
retweet it.
Instagram, Neil? Is it Neil deGrasse
Instagram's
Tyson?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, it's full up.
I mean, what'd you think it was?
I don't know.
Yeah. Retweeted. Boom.
So this morning I put out another tweet, the morning report. Most of the universe remains intact, doing just fine. Earth, however, is fucked up. That's earlier this morning.
Yeah.
I normally don't post tweets that close to each other in time, but out of respect for you guys and you're good thinkers and curious, we just do a live tweet with you right
you.
now.
Thank you so much for coming.
Neil. Like, this helped us so much. We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, all right. It's time. Time.
Time.
It is time.
Yeah.
All right.
Make sure to
Chewbacca.
Yes.
Can I tell you someone who wanted to be Chewbacca his whole life, but was never called? Kareem AbdulJabbar.
Really?
I interviewed him for my show, for Star Talk. And, he's been in a few movies.
Yes.
Name two.
Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee movie?
Name the movie.
I don't know. Bruce Lee.
Game of
Part 4.
Death.
Game of Death.
Game of Death. And
I don't know.
Airplane.
Dude.
Airplane.
Slap him. Slap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can't. He's
absolutely.
gonna meet to me if I hit him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, what you know, when you left the NBA, you said I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
I said, what role did you? He said, he was sheepish. I should have been Chewbacca. And I said,
Wow.
yes.
Why wouldn't you?
He's got the height for it. Yes.
All right.
All right.
Masterclass.com. Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's available right now.
And let me hear your best Chewbacca imitation.
That's pretty good.
That's not
That's
bad.
not bad.
Not bad.
Got the Masterclass. I messed up
you went too
there.
far.
I should have stopped when I was ahead.
All right, guys, I'm out.
Thank you, Neil.
Nice
Appreciate
meeting.
it
Thank
so
you
much.
so much,
Okay.
Neil.
Excellent.
so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Hug it out.
Keep it going.
Thank you so much.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, everybody.
Let's do it.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah, come on, Giannis.
I like how we're still rolling.
Oh, so no. Okay, we're still on the air?
Yeah.
Well, which way to take a pic? What are people supposed to do?
Wait, can you get
We are
in the
posing
middle
for a
of the-
photo in the middle of the thing.
Sorry.
Okay. You just leaving your people hanging?
Sorry.
Does she know how to use the camera?
I'm nervous. I'm sorry. Here you go. Cheese, guys. Look great.
You just had dead airtime
Yeah,
on the thing.
I know. It's Neil, baby.
No, no.
I appreciate it, man. I
All
hope
right.
I see you again. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Got it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we're back.
Excellent. Thanks.
Just took a picture with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It was unbelievable.
Check
He's
out
on
his
to his next thing.
Masterclass.
Check out the Masterclass.
It's Masterclass /
Appreciate it.
at Neil deGrasse Tyson, Facebook at Masterclass Official / at Neil deGrasse Tyson, Twitter at Masterclass / at Neil deGrasse
Was
Tyson.
that was a good interview, no?
I think that was good.
It was good.
We had fun. I mean, he's a
I mean,
fun
this-
kid from
is
the
this
Bronx.
live right now, Paul? This is just taped anyway, right? For the podcast?
Yeah, so we're still
Oh, yeah,
rolling.
so we're good. So we'll just edit out the dead air if Zach remembers.
Yeah. So that
All
was
right,
a good
well, that
time.
was-
We had a good time.
that
He
was a good time.
He was a fun kid. I think he had a good time.
Dude, what do you think? You think he had a good time, Venetia?
Yeah, he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, everybody had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't want to leave.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd it bet? Was that good?
Dope.
Do you think Neil
Did
had
he have a good time? Did Neil have a
Neil's
good time?
publicist is back. It was good. Smart.
good?
Thank you. Remember us, the History Hyenas.
Yeah, you
All right.
you start listening too. History Hyenas.
Patreon.com/BayRidgeBoys.
Word.
Marketing.
Marketing. Yeah, Neil. All right, good. So we did good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had a good time. I mean, he's so fascinating and cool. I mean, a guy like that, I just like a guy like that you know little things that he said, even like how smart he is. Like if you notice, like his ego is not that big. It's almost like non-existent, even though he's so smart in what he says, because anytime he says something, he'll be like, oh, I did the math, and I know I did it right, but you check it and make sure it's right. I love when guys do that, when they don't think who the fuck they are. He can step out of himself and be like, you keep mentioning Harvard, and it's like, that's fine, but like, let me prove it to you.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
I
When
think
it's
it
like,
would-
don't stand on your accolades, because they actually mean nothing.
Yeah, I think it would be hard for anyone who studies the universe to have an ego, because
Yeah.
basically that's what he does all day is stare at how and learn about how small he and meaningless
Yeah,
he is.
and I don't know if you noticed when he was tweeting out how big his hands are. I mean, the kid's got a big piece.
The kid was a wrestler in college.
You can't get punched through.
The kid was a wrestler in college
will
and
get
high
punched
school.
through.
He's a kid from the Bronx who wrestles.
Yeah, he's a kid from the Bronx who wrestles, and I really just
Dope.
felt like it was so, he talked so much and was so interesting. It's like that's a guy, like, I get why he is a famous physicist, like, in entertainment too. Like, it's just like, not everybody can do what he does.
He has a
Like,
good way
you know
of
what I mean?
talking and like.
Yeah, like he's one of those guys, like, I'm happy that the internet exists because of him, because it's like, without the internet, he probably wouldn't have been famous. And it's like, this guy's great.
Yeah, I mean, his masterclass is, I think, in part about how well he portrays the things he thinks, because that's really part of his talent, and that's what sets him apart, and that's why he's become such a spokesperson for the scientific community, the what would you call it?
Astrophysics.
What would you call that field? Astrophysics.
Yeah, astrophysics.
Astrophysics is because he's such a good communicator.
Because if you think we're not putting that masterclass on the company card, you got another thing coming.
If you got another thing coming. If you think I didn't just retweet it, but post it and say tweeted live on History Hyenas with me and Chris Distefano, you got another thing coming.
Marketing. I've been holding this in the whole time.
Yes! This is the only podcast where you can have Neil deGrasse Tyson on and then a fart 3 minutes later.
It's what it is, Neil.
Yeah, there's gases in the universe and there's gases in the studio.
There's guests in the studio. All right, guys. Well, listen, that was a great episode. Neil deGrasse Tyson, patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. If you want to see any of the behind the scenes from Neil deGrasse Tyson, go there. Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. We love you guys. First time Zach has ever been in Sirius XM, and he's crying for that reason, and also because he was just told Santa's not real. Mike Suarez almost passed out when he found out Santa's not real and he can't be.
Yeah, Zach is just happy to be here because he knows that at some point during the day, Sway is in this building.
Yeah.
Little does he know that Sway's just actually a friend of yours and you just haven't given the mixtape to him.
If you think that Zach isn't going to crawl into Sway's studio and sniff his seat, you got another thing coming.
If you think being in the studio gets you closer to Sway than it does just knowing Chris, you got another thing coming. Chris said he's never given your demo over to Sway because we need you on the soundboard, you muzzy.
The truth is I did give it to him, and I'm gonna text again back. What do you think of my man's drop?
Listen to Zach's music too. It's great.
Yeah, see the dropout. All right, thank you so much, Paulie, Roland, guys at Sirius who gave us this opportunity. Thank you so much, and of course, thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're a cute kid. I'm never washing my hand again.
You've been listening to a Raw Dog Comedy Holiday Special presentation of the History Hyenas with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Hear it anytime on demand with the SiriusXM app.